Here's a 1995 Yamaha Big Bear 350. I have just removed the carburetor off of it. And here's the carb. Here's where the cable goes in. It's rusted like crazy. The intake boot here as well is ripped, so this can cause a big problem because sometimes it's hard to see if it is cracked, so that needs to be replaced. And I'm going to give the carb a good cleanup. I'm going to spray that rust with some penetrating oil. Now to start with, I'm going to remove the intake boot. And now you need to remove the 4 Phillips screws here under the carburetor. So it's dirty in there, it's not too bad. But the guy says that it's leaking fuel through the overflow, so I may replace the needle in the carb just to make sure. But I'm going to clean it while I have it apart. First you'll need to remove this little cap here. Now if you're at home and you don't have any special tools, what you need to do is to check to make sure that the needle is working properly. So you would put a fuel line to where the fuel goes into the carburetor, then blow in the line and lift up the float here as if it were on the bike. And if you can still blow air through after the float's up, that means the needle needs to be replaced inside the carburetor. When the float's up like this, you should not be able to blow any air through there. And on this carburetor here, I did that, and there is a bit of air passing through, so I'm going to replace the needle as well. The pin that holds the float only goes out this way, so grab a finishing nail. I've already got it partly out there, and then just tap it out with it. Don't tap too hard because these little legs here can break. Then you need a new carb. Now the float and the needle will come out. What gets worn on the needle is the tip here. It's a neoprene or Viton tip. It gets worn out, then it doesn't do a tight seal when it floats up. Now inside the seat you can see there's a bit of dirt there, so that's going to need to be cleaned. But if the guy gets a carb kit, there should be a new seat in the kit. Just simply remove the Phillips screw right here. Now grab a pair of needle nose pliers and grab it from the exterior. Never grab it from inside the seat. You can damage the seat. And just turn and pull up. Now you'll need to remove this jet here. And there's a little washer under there. Make sure you keep that in the same order. There's a small jet in there that needs to be removed. Make sure you use a screwdriver that is wide enough, or else it's going to damage the jet. There it is. It's a pretty small one. 3 Phillips screws here to remove. And there's not too much to clean in there. I'm just going to put this cover right back on. If you were to do a major clean on this carb, you could remove the choke mechanism here by undoing this nut here. And you could also undo the adjustment screw here. But it was running good when the guy brought it in. All the problem is that it's overflowing fuel. So all I'm going to do is leave that there like that, and the choke, and I'm going to clean the carb and get the new carb kit. Now before I spray them, I'm going to remove the bowl gasket here. But when your gasket has a lot of dirt like that on it, it's best to replace it. You can clean it and put it back on, but the rubber does deteriorate over time and you could have a slight leak. So I'm going to spray it with some cleaner and let it sit for about an hour. Make sure you spray right down the holes where the jets go and the needle seat. You also want to spray down in here and this hole over here, and you can also spray some inside in the back over here. What you can do here is put all the jets you took off and put them in the bowl and spray them as well, and let them sit in the cleaner for a while. So I'm going to start by cleaning the jets with a wire brush. And on this brush, the wires are so small, I can run them through the tip of the jet here. So they're pretty clean. If you want to make sure that the jet is really clean, because sometimes the holes are so small you can't see daylight, put a fuel line at the end, blow in the line, and if air comes out, then you know it's clean. On the bigger jet, you can pass a bigger wire through it, and you should be able to see daylight, as you can see here on the other side, so that's clean. Now, if you're reusing the same seat, make sure you have some carb cleaner in there. Grab a small screwdriver with a shop towel or a rag and just turn like this, and the dirt should come off. And it looks pretty clean in there. And you can clean the carburetor bowl with a small wire brush as well. Get all that corrosion off from all the edges. You also want to get all the dirt out from the bottom of the bowl. And whatever I can't get out, I'll use my air compressor with the blowgun. Now for the carburetor, you want to do the same. Clean all the edges off. Do not use a coarse wire brush because you may scratch the carburetor and have leaks. You can also use some very fine sandpaper. So you want all the edges clean like this with no corrosion whatsoever or dirt. Now I'm going to blow the pieces out with my air compressor. Now what I do when I'm done air blowing them is I run some more carb cleaner just to rinse out any debris that could be sitting there. And over here as well. And then let it dry off. Got it all cleaned up now. I put the jets back in. And I'm just going to wait for the carb kit to come in now. So we'll see you then.